better technique because 50-50. If 12 rounds, Crawford win, I think.
Anyone that thinks Crawford has a chance is a complete idiot. They have weight classes for a reason.
Too big? Too skilled?
Way too big, way too skilled.
Does he win? Can he beat him? Can he beat Canelo? Is his skill so much that he's able to bridge the weight classes?
He has a legitimate chance. Over 60% for as my, if you say Bernard, give me a number.
Give me a number.
He has an 85+ chance to beat Canelo.
Pros from around the boxing world are weighing in on the upcoming clash between Canelo Alvarez and Terence Crawford. Israel Madrimov believes that if the fight goes the full 12 rounds, Crawford holds the advantage thanks to his sharp power, high ring IQ, and adaptability under pressure. Still, he acknowledges it's far from a straightforward pick. Canelo's size, strength, and wealth of experience make him a formidable challenge. In Madrimov's eyes, this matchup is as close as it gets, a genuine 50-50 battle.
12 rounds, Crawford win, I think.
Crawford and Canelo Alvarez, what do you think about that fight if they did fight? Looks like it's up for September.
Good fight. You know, if 168 pounds, I think Canelo, but Canelo better technique because 50-50. If 12 rounds, Crawford win, I think. If knockout, Canelo.
What makes Crawford so difficult to fight against?
He has power, smart, in more practice.
He has more experience. He's very good.
When talk of a potential showdown between Canelo Alvarez and Terence Crawford first emerged, most observers quickly pegged Canelo as the clear favorite. The reasoning was simple. Alvarez had long proven himself at higher weight classes, while Crawford was only beginning to test waters beyond welterweight. Commentator Showbiz the Adult captured that early perception, describing the matchup as heavily one-sided at first glance. But as training camp footage and photos of Crawford began to surface, the narrative started to shift. Crawford looked stronger, faster, and impressively comfortable at the higher weight. Rather than appearing outsized by the challenge, he seemed sharp and fully capable of bringing his elite skill set into a bigger division. This shift in perspective underscores how quickly boxing opinions can change once preparation and form are on display.
Now, the other second point that I think is becoming a fact. This fight was initially kind of a one-sided credited fight, where Terence Crawford sold Canelo Alvarez, he's on my first one. And sold Canelo Alvarez beat Crawford, kind of like before. But now the butt buddies have gone across all of social media and attacked social media so impactfully, like a plan, that now it's starting to give more value if sold Canelo Alvarez. And let me tell you what I mean. You cannot tell everybody they're haters and they're stupid for thinking Canelo wins. Say, hey, y'all gonna find out come September 13th how great Bud Crawford is. And you speak Crawford up, you know, you say, yeah, you said the same thing about Crawford, beat all them. You just don't know. You know, you have all these all-time great fighters saying that Crawford wins. So, come September 14th, if someone Canelo Alvarez has beaten Crawford or destroyed him, you can't take it out. It's going to have to be like, so Canelo Alvarez is going on. Right? You can't go that heavy all over social media and then in which social media controls. So it's everything. You can't slump social media like this and just wave after wave talk about how Bud is going to whoop Canelo with some deep boots and all the preparation, all that stuff. And then if Canelo wins, you don't have the same ring.
Rolly Romero speaks for the skeptics who believe weight cannot be ignored in a fight of this magnitude. His blunt remarks echo a long-standing reality in boxing. Weight divisions exist to ensure fairness and protect fighters from dangerous size gaps. Romero argues that no matter how talented Terence Crawford is, moving up so drastically puts him at serious risk. History, he notes, is filled with examples of great fighters who struggled when stepping too far beyond their natural weight. In his view, Crawford's dominance at 147 doesn't guarantee success at 168, especially against Canelo Alvarez, a proven force who has ruled the super middleweight division for years.
Canelo, we got Terence Crawford. That's going to happen in the fall. It's going to happen here in Sin City, your hometown. How do you feel about that matchup?
Anyone that thinks Crawford has a chance is a complete idiot. They have weight classes for a reason.
Too big? Too skilled?
Way too big, way too skilled. And this isn't a skill matchup. It has nothing to do with skill. It has to do with weight.
Bernard Hopkins isn't just a respected analyst. He's a legend whose career was defined by intelligence, discipline, and longevity. That's why his bold prediction, giving Terence Crawford an 85% chance to win, carries so much weight. Hopkins points to Crawford's cerebral style, patience, and tactical awareness as the keys to frustrating Canelo Alvarez. He notes that Crawford's adaptability, whether switching stances mid-fight or adjusting strategy on the fly, has always been his greatest weapon. In Hopkins' view, those tools could blunt Canelo's counters and relentless pressure. Drawing from his own experience, Hopkins also stresses that physical disadvantages can be overcome when a fighter commits fully to their game plan. By assigning Crawford such a high probability, he shifts the psychological frame. This isn't just an uphill challenge, it's a chance for Crawford to redefine greatness. On the other hand, David Benavidez, who knows the super middleweight landscape firsthand, takes a more grounded stance. He favors Canelo, pointing to the natural size and strength difference as the deciding factor. For Benavidez, skill matters, but when the gap in physicality is this wide, the bigger man usually wins. Would you like me to expand this into a direct comparison breakdown of Hopkins versus Benavidez's views, almost like a face-off in perspectives?
Can he beat him? Can he beat Canelo? Is his skill so much that he's able to bridge the weight classes?
He has a legitimate chance. Over 60% for as much. If you say, Bernard, give me a number.
Give me a number.
He has an 85+ chance to beat Canelo. Why? He's not going in there to prove something, which will fall into Canelo's hand. He would love for him to prove something. That means you will stay there and try to prove something. But to go in there and to let him know, establish that from the first round, that I belong without showing that I am tough. I earned my position to be here. And I want to show you, even though you're being stubborn, that your time not only have came, but it's gone. He ain't gonna surrender and say I slowed up, so I'm gonna act like it. No, he has to be shown. And it has to be early.
Benavidez stresses that Canelo Alvarez has spent the bulk of his career at higher weights, becoming fully accustomed to the strength, pace, and demands of fighting at 168 pounds. Terence Crawford, by contrast, is stepping into uncharted territory. For Benavidez, the difference between a natural super middleweight and a welterweight moving up multiple divisions is simply too wide to ignore. He makes it clear this isn't a criticism of Crawford's talent, but rather an acknowledgement of how crucial comfort and familiarity are at the elite level. In his eyes, Canelo's experience in these weight ranges gives him a built-in safety net, an advantage Crawford simply doesn't share.
David Benavidez is choosing Canelo Alvarez to win over Terence Crawford. With that said, David Benavidez has finally given a straight, probably his final prediction for this fight, with him choosing Canelo Alvarez. Now, Benavidez, however, made it perfectly clear that despite him choosing Canelo Alvarez over Terence Crawford, this doesn't necessarily mean that he's actually rooting or backing up Canelo Alvarez. In an interview posted on the Rob's World of Boxing YouTube channel, David Benavidez explained that Terence Crawford, who's pretty much jumping 3 weight divisions in comparison to Canelo, who Benavidez views as a natural super middleweight, will be this fight's biggest deciding factor. Once again, Benavidez clarified that he's not saying that he wants Canelo to win. However, given the circumstances, his prediction is fueled by the weight division argument, not by his emotional or personal views regarding Canelo or Terence Crawford.
Tim Bradley provides a sharply contrasting take on the matchup. He views Terence Crawford as the superior technician, someone capable of outthinking and outmaneuvering Canelo Alvarez in ways few opponents ever could. Bradley highlights Crawford's knack for making mid-fight adjustments, a quality that has allowed him to conquer multiple divisions with little resistance. In his eyes, Canelo's slower tempo and reliance on timing are vulnerabilities that Crawford's versatility can exploit. Bradley doesn't mince words. He predicts that Crawford's ring IQ, precision, and adaptability will prove too much for Canelo. For him, this isn't guesswork, it's a forecast built on years of watching Crawford dominate by constantly evolving inside the ring.
Real quick. Just got done. I woke up 3 a.m. I don't know, something told me to study Canelo. Study Crawford. Crawford about to beat the shit out of Canelo Alvarez. I'm letting y'all know right now, he about to beat the break off of Canelo Alvarez. Yes, he is.
Brian Bomac McIntyre, Terence Crawford's longtime trainer, downplays the idea that size will be the deciding factor against Canelo Alvarez. He argues that while Canelo has fought at higher weights for years, he isn't an imposing super middleweight compared to others in the division. Instead, Bomac describes Canelo as a compact fighter who depends more on strength, timing, and technique than sheer physical size. From that perspective, the weight gap between Crawford and Canelo isn't nearly as daunting as critics suggest. Drawing on first-hand knowledge from countless training camps and sparring sessions, Bomac insists that Crawford has the physical tools to absorb whatever Canelo throws at him. His confidence isn't rooted in trash talk, but in years of watching Crawford defy expectations and prove doubters wrong. As he bluntly puts it, Canelo isn't that big, Crawford walks around big anyway.
He could overcome.
Walk around big any goddamn way.
Right. Now, Canelo is the bigger guy, right? But
He ain't the bigger guy.
that's what they say. They say he's wider, he's got more mass. How are you feeling about Bud going in there taking on Canelo's power?
Oh, shit. I don't give a fuck about that power. Well, how you beat power?
Speed.
You said what?
Speed.
And what else?
IQ.
Timing.
That's why you're the coach and I'm not.
I mean, you make some good. I mean, you got some good answers, but that power ain't gonna be able to sustain throughout the fight. Watch. And he usually slows down between 7, 6, and 7. You slow down, fuck it.